What if everything you've been taught about heaven is only the beginning? What if one man was taken beyond the veil, not to die, but to witness the hidden order of creation itself? His name was Enoch. His journey was preserved in ancient writings that reveal mysteries too profound for ordinary eyes. Enoch walked with God in an age consumed by violence, corruption, and rebellion. While nations drifted farther from their Creator, he remained faithful. Because of that unwavering devotion, he was chosen for a privilege no other mortal had ever received. He was not taken by death. He was lifted alive into the heavenly realms to witness the majesty of God's creation. Heavenly messengers descended and carried Enoch beyond the world of men. As the earth faded beneath him, he entered realms hidden from human sight. He saw vast waters suspended above creation, flowing according to divine command, nothing moved by chance. Every current, every drop, every unseen force obeyed the voice of the Almighty. The farther he traveled, the deeper the silence became. Mountains of ice and hail stood in ordered ranks, restrained by radiant walls of heavenly light. These immense storehouses were not chaotic forces of nature, but carefully governed treasures awaiting God's command. Enoch realized that every element of creation followed an eternal design. Then his guide brought him before solemn figures whose glory had long since faded. They stood motionless, burdened by judgment. These were the fallen watchers. Once entrusted with heavenly authority, they abandoned their appointed place and corrupted the earth through pride and disobedience. Their punishment was not immediate destruction, but fearful waiting. Bound beneath divine authority, they remained as living testimony that no rebellion escapes the justice of God. Leaving them behind, Enoch entered a realm unlike anything he had imagined. The air itself carried a fragrance beyond earthly understanding. Peace flowed through every breath. Before him stood the tree of life, shining with gentle golden light. Its branches stretched across paradise, offering shelter to those who remained faithful to the Creator. Countless righteous souls rested beneath its beauty, reflecting the glory of God with quiet joy. Yet the angel urged Enoch onward. Greater revelations still awaited him. As they approached the northern reaches of heaven, the peaceful fragrance slowly disappeared. Brilliant light gave way to overwhelming power. The sound of flowing waters became a deep and steady resonance. Ahead stood an enormous gate, towering beyond imagination. Its guardians wore garments of black and gold, standing with unwavering attention. Unlike the imprisoned watchers, these angels were ready at every moment to fulfill the will of the Most High. The guiding angel spoke. "This is the fourth heaven." Here Enoch discovered that the universe was governed with astonishing precision. Every star followed an appointed course. Every planet moved according to divine measure. Nothing wandered without purpose. He watched the blazing sun travel its ordained path as mighty angels opened the eastern gates at dawn and received it again through the western gates. At evening, the sun itself possessed no independent authority. Its faithful course testified to the wisdom of its Creator. Nearby, the moon reflected a softer glory. Angels recorded the passing of days, months, seasons, and years upon tablets of living light. Their writing was not ink upon parchment, but radiant symbols that shone with heavenly brilliance. Some glowed like burning fire, others rested with quiet splendor. These records preserved the perfect order established since the foundation of creation. Enoch then saw rivers flowing exactly where they had been commanded. Heavenly fountains released their waters only by divine permission. Even the growth of a single leaf upon the earth unfolded beneath God's complete knowledge. Nothing escaped his sight. Nothing existed outside his sovereign care. Farther within this heavenly realm, Enoch encountered another company of angels seated before luminous books. Without pause they continued writing, recording the hidden works of mankind. He saw acts of mercy performed in secret. He saw quiet sacrifices known only to God. He saw those who helped the poor without seeking honor. He saw faithful labor, unseen prayers, and humble obedience preserved forever in heaven's records. The angel explained that no righteous deed is forgotten before the throne of God. Though unnoticed by the world, every act performed in love is remembered by the Creator. Enoch understood that heaven was not merely a place of beauty. It was the center of divine government. Nothing in creation had been abandoned. Every sea, every river, every nation, and every human life remained under God's perfect authority. Then they ascended higher, The fifth heaven blazed with overwhelming glory. Ranks upon ranks of mighty angels surrounded the divine presence, moving with flawless precision. Authority rested upon them, yet none displayed pride. Their strength existed only to serve the will of God. Some appeared like living flames, others shone with dazzling brilliance. Their forms were covered with countless eyes, seeing every direction at once without confusion or distraction. Enoch asked who these magnificent beings were. His guide answered, "These are the thrones and the powers appointed to uphold the government of the Most High." Their voices thundered like many rushing waters. Their praise never ceased. "Holy is the Lord God Almighty." Each declaration echoed through heaven itself, causing even the foundations of light to tremble. Overwhelmed by their glory, Enoch fell upon his knees. He understood that he stood there by grace alone. He had not been chosen because of earthly greatness. He had been chosen because God desired future generations to know that His kingdom is real, His justice is certain, and His authority extends over all creation. The angel gently lifted him to his feet. There is still more to see. Together they entered the sixth heaven. Here the light surpassed every realm below. Choirs of archangels filled the heavens with songs of unending worship. Their voices carried both power and perfect pace. Every note proclaimed the holiness of God. These mighty servants governed the harmony of creation itself. Though their authority exceeded human understanding, none sought honor for themselves. The nearer they stood to the presence of God, the greater their humility became. Enoch watched in amazement. The highest servants bowed the lowest. The greatest power was joined with the deepest reverence. Only then did he fully understand. True greatness before God is measured not by authority, but by obedience. Tears filled his eyes. He remembered that he was only a man formed from the dust of the earth. Every step upward revealed more clearly his own unworthiness. Yet the angel placed a reassuring hand upon his shoulder. "Stand firm, you have been brought here by God's command." The songs of heaven continued without interruption. No angel grew weary, no voice became silent. Every creature delighted to glorify its Creator. Enoch realized that heaven was magnificent not simply because of its radiant beauty or its countless angels. Heaven was glorious because everything within it existed in perfect submission to God. Then the guide lowered his head. A holy fear settled over the heavenly hosts. Ahead lay the final threshold. Everything Enoch had witnessed until this moment had only prepared him for what awaited beyond. An entrance of indescribable light appeared before them. Its brilliance exceeded all previous glory. As Enoch drew near, every trace of human strength left him. No mortal could cross this boundary by natural power. The holiness beyond it was absolute. His knees weakened beneath him, and he would have fallen had the guiding angel not held him upright. Before him stretched the seventh heaven, an immeasurable realm where every step reflected uncreated light. Seraphim covered their faces with burning wings before the presence of God. Beings capable of wielding heavenly fire bowed in silent worship. Then a voice filled all existence. It did not come from one direction. It surrounded everything. It entered the depths of Enoch's soul. Without shouting, it carried infinite authority. Every heavenly being became perfectly still. The cherubim lowered their wings. The archangels bowed before the eternal throne. And Enoch knew that he stood before the presence of the Almighty himself. The guiding angel led Enoch forward. He could not gaze directly upon the face of God. The glory before him was like an endless ocean of light and living fire. Yet without seeing his face, Enoch knew with absolute certainty that he stood before the Creator of heaven and earth, the author of life, justice, mercy, and eternity. He fell upon his face. "I am not worthy," the voice of the Almighty answered with perfect peace. "You were called by my purpose." Then one of the greatest princes of heaven approached. His presence radiated overwhelming authority, yet every movement reflected complete humility. The angel whispered, "This is Michael, chief among the servants of the Most High." Michael stretched out his hands and touched Enoch's garments. Immediately the fear of mortal weakness departed from him. A holy peace settled over his soul. Then Michael brought forth a vessel filled with luminous oil that burned like gentle fire. He anointed Enoch's head, cleansing him for the work appointed by God. The heavenly prince placed a reed into Enoch's hand. "You shall write." At that moment the whole of creation seemed to unfold before the throne. The heavens, the earth, the seas, the nations, the generations yet unborn. Nothing was hidden from the eyes of God. Books were opened before the throne, some remained sealed. Others revealed the history of mankind from beginning to end. The Lord commanded Enoch, "Write what you have seen. Record the courses of heaven. Record the storehouses of the waters. Record the destiny of souls. Record the judgment of the fallen watchers. Encourage those who walk in righteousness, so that every generation may know their deeds are weighed before me." Enoch received the command with trembling gratitude. He understood that these revelations had not been given to satisfy human curiosity. They had been entrusted to him as a sacred responsibility. The seventh heaven was not merely the highest realm. It was the dwelling place of perfect truth. No deception could survive there. No darkness could remain before the righteous judge. Every creature acknowledged that the Lord alone reigns forever. When the revelation was complete, the guiding angel spoke once more, "You must return." Enoch's heart trembled. Return? After beholding such glory, how could he walk again among ordinary men? The angel explained that he would return only for a little while. The heavenly writings must first be delivered to his family. His descendants would preserve them for generations yet to come. Through these sacred records, mankind would learn that creation is governed by divine wisdom, that heaven watches over every life, and that no human action is ever forgotten before God. Enoch looked down at the radiant tablets resting in his hands. They were more than writings. They carried the memory of heaven itself. The angel then revealed the final decree. After delivering the message, Enoch would not remain upon the earth. He would be taken forever into the presence of God. No longer would he dwell among mortal men. He would serve eternally as the heavenly scribe of divine mysteries. Enoch bowed his head. Without hesitation, he accepted the will of the Almighty. Together they descended once more through the heavens. The brilliant realms slowly gave way to the familiar world below. Soon Enoch stood again upon the earth. The wind moved gently through the trees. The air carried the scent of the world he had once called home. His family rushed toward him with tears of joy and astonishment. They embraced him tightly, yet they quickly realized that the man who had returned was no longer the same. Something of heaven now rested upon him. Gathering his household together, Enoch spoke of everything God had permitted him to witness. He described the seven heavens, the ordered paths of the sun and moon, the rivers of heaven, the tree of life, the glory surrounding God's throne. He warned them about the rebellion of the watchers and the terrible consequences of abandoning God's appointed order. Then he placed the sacred writings into the hands of his son Methuselah. Guard these words, teach them to your children, and let every generation remember that no heart can be hidden from the Creator. His family accepted the charge with tears. They understood that these writings were not ordinary books. They were heaven's testimony entrusted to the earth. Then the moment came that Enoch had quietly anticipated. The angelic messengers appeared once again. A gentle light surrounded his home. One by one, Enoch embraced those he loved. He blessed his children. He encouraged them to remain faithful even when surrounded by corruption. He urged them never to exchange truth for the approval of men. Finally, he turned toward the doorway. Without looking back in regret, he walked beside the angels. The forest became silent. The heavens opened. Light descended once more. Slowly Enoch rose above the earth. He watched the mountains become small. The rivers turned into silver threads. The homes of men faded into the distance, but this time he did not ascend as a visitor. He ascended as one whose earthly mission had been completed. His life among men had ended. His eternal service before the throne had begun. Thus Enoch became the everlasting scribe of heaven. The scriptures simply declare that Enoch walked with God, and he was no more because God took him. Yet behind those few words lies one of the most extraordinary mysteries preserved in ancient tradition. Why was Enoch chosen? The answer begins long before his journey through heaven. His greatness did not begin among angels. It began in the ordinary faithfulness of everyday life. Before he witnessed heavenly mysteries, Enoch learned to walk with God upon the earth. In an age consumed by violence, greed, and moral decay, he refused to follow the crowd. He remained faithful when compromise had become normal. God does not reveal his deepest truths to satisfy curiosity. He entrusts them to hearts that have first learned obedience. Enoch was not chosen because of wealth. influence, or earthly greatness. He was chosen because he cultivated uninterrupted fellowship with the Creator. His life reminds us that walking with God does not remove hardship. It means remaining faithful when the world abandons righteousness. The story of the fallen watchers reveals the same lesson from another direction. Those who sought power outside God's will found only judgment. Meanwhile, the heavens themselves remain perfectly obedient. The sun never rebels against its appointed course. The stars never abandon their stations. Creation honors the order established by its maker. Humanity alone continually struggles against it. The journey of Enoch invites us to look beyond temporary success, earthly ambition, and passing fame. We were created for something greater. To walk in truth, to practice mercy, to pursue justice, to reflect the character of the one who created us. We may never witness the hidden heavens as Enoch did. Yet we are called to live with the same unwavering faith, every hidden act of kindness, every quiet prayer, every sacrifice made for righteousness. Heaven remembers them all. No generation is too dark for faithful men and women to shine. No age is beyond God's redemption. The light of truth has always overcome the deepest darkness. Enoch's life stands as an everlasting witness that our daily choices echo into eternity. The God who guided the stars also watches the hearts of men, and those who choose to walk faithfully with Him will one day behold a glory far greater than anything this world can offer. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Enoch's story is not how he entered heaven. It is whether we will choose to walk with God while we still remain upon the earth. For the path to eternal glory has always begun with a single faithful step.